Namaste. I welcome you all to the 63rd session of GURUBODHA with Dr. M.B. Gururaja sir and Dr. Raghuram sir. Okay. I dedicate this and all of my works at the feet of Dr. A. Chandrasekhar Udupa. Dr. M.B. Gururaja sir runs Dhala Pentacare Ayurveda Treatment Center. To consult him or to get his guidance, go to easyayurveda.com/Gururaja. Dr. Raghuram sir is a professor, author, and blogger at easyayurveda.com, and he can be consulted for guidance, case guidance, etc. at easyayurveda.com/Raghuram. All the so this class is made live, exclusively available to weekly classes subscribers. One of the big lessons that I learned from you was that I had referred a chronic liver cirrhosis case to you, and within 10 days the client had ascites and he lost 8 kgs, and the fluid retention was was drastically reduced. As much as Ayurveda medicines are wonderful and all, diet and lifestyle, especially in liver cases, play a very large role.
Definitely, not only in liver cases, everywhere, all sort of diseases. See, that is what our beauty of thing which is explained by our acharyas. That is very typically Agni and Patya, Ama. These are the three important things. If Ama is there, then there will be a lot of lakshanas. Symptoms will be there. If Agni is proper, Ama will not be there. So very typically, this Agni, we need to keep up the Agni of a person. It may be Kaya Agni, it may be Dattva Agni, or it may be even Bhuta Agni. That all Agnis should be in perfect condition. If Agni is proper inside, things will be continuously going. So we need to maintain that Agni. And if Agni is maintained properly, then there is no question of any Ama. And if there is no Ama, then there is no Lakshanas. So it is typically with that. So it's not only the medicines. Medicine play its role, important role, but provided all the Chatushpadas with all these qualities must be there, and then there is a strict adherence to the principles laid down for each and every disease or each and every Shrotas related diseases, where Acharya has given a guidelines based on accordingly we need to alter in some conditions if it is required. If that is appropriately adopted, definitely there will be conducive results, and definitely there will be you will have a very convincing achievements throughout the year with these type of diseases. And it may be very typical skin condition, maybe liver disorders, or maybe even diabetes and its complications, whatever it may be. In all the things, Patya takes a very important place. So if Patya is taken properly, taken care of it, automatically the diseases will very fast lose their bala. If Roga Bala reduces, then Rogi Bala increases.
Very well said, sir. And so moving on to the topic is one of the wonderful oils with it's called as 777 oil. The question is, any reason why they have avoided standard Tailapaka, meaning like standard method of cooking the oil with the fire with which most of the Ayurvedic oils are prepared, and only the Surya Paka, meaning, or Aditya Paka, meaning on the coconut oil in the Sri Kuduja is kept and kept under the sun for 7 to 10 days and it's cooked. Why that specific method has been explained?
See, there are typically the acharyas have explained the different methods of preparing Sneha Kalpanas, particularly with respect to oil, wherein this Aditya Paka or Bhanu Paka or Surya Paka or Surya Tapi or Bhanu Tapi, the words have been explained. If you find any preparations of that nature in our text, so you may get somewhere around 10 to 14 types of such preparations which are done under Aditya Paka or Surya Paka. And most of them are either Taila or Grutha, like Kasi Sadhya Grutha, it is also there. There is even Aditya Paka, Gudu Grutha is there, and there is Kutajata Taila is there. There are plenty of such preparations wherein it is used for this. What may be the reason for that? Why they have avoided the regular Taila Paka, instead of that they went for Aditya Paka? I mean, probably Acharyas wanted to make sure that these ingredients which are used for the condition should come in contact with the oil medium or lipid medium for a longer duration, but at a very, very low temperature compared to the temperature concerned is, it is not like if you even keep it on a mild fire also, it will be much heat. So they want a very low temperature. Maybe because of that, the reason those materials present in that ingredients in the drugs which are used for this pak may be containing such type of photosensitive as well as such type of heat sensitive materials. So probably because of that reason, they might have been using this one. The other thing is that maybe probably it's a hypothesis. Maybe probably there may be some UV radiation from the sunlight, maybe intervening in somewhere in its cooking and maybe getting the benefit. So using this Banapaka and all these things, and if you observe where they have been extensively or intensively used, almost all these preparations are used for the skin conditions. Most of them are for the skin diseases. So when you observe this, so something which should be given for the skin condition, then the ingredient must come in contact with the oil medium or lipid medium for a longer duration, maybe 7 days, 10 days, or 15 days, 21 days, something like that. And with a very, very mild temperature, like directly heating through the sunlight, and of course in the presence of ultraviolet radiation from the sun rays, maybe it is helping in clearly disintegrating and coming imbibing into the oil, and those oils maybe they're definitely supporting the condition. So this is a very typical method the acharyas have explained. Probably it suggests that how our acharyas are well aware of the fact that sun rays contains so many things which are good to the skin.
Yeah, so this is also a hypothesis and also a possible question. Gururaja sir clearly explained what is the role of Aditya Paka here. In some skin conditions like pigmentation disorders and other conditions also, we allow the patients to apply the oil and get exposed to the sunlight. And there may be some regions where sunlight is not seen as bright sunlight or even the heat of the sun for most months of the year is not clearly evident. So they can apply the oil, but they don't find sunlight or sun heat to get exposed, their body parts exposed as indicated. So for such conditions, already the oil prepared with the Surya, so that is the Aditya Paka, by exposing it to the sunlight, so possibly may help those people to apply the oil where they live in geographies like areas where sunlight is not bright or they do not get plenty of days to expose to the sunlight. So possibly I thought this could be one more point.
Thank you there, sir. And coming back to 777 oil, and it is prepared with Raitia tinctoria or Street Kutaja. Your experience with the oil and utility of this and more, Gururaja sir.
So see, Raitia tinctoria, Raitia tomentosa is we popularly understood it as Street Kutaja, and very typically it belongs to the family of Apocynaceae, and where the leaf of this plant is used extensively for this preparation, and almost many companies are producing this with containing Raitia tinctoria. Some of them with Raitia tinctoria along with that Manjista and Nimba are made as combination, and some other they added Karanja as a combination. So, but most of the places where Raitia tinctoria is there, that is the drug of choice for psoriasis or Kitiba Rekakushta conditions. So this psoriasis are where there is a ichthyosis also, like where there is a peeling of skin, means where there is an extensive vata involved condition and the layers of skin getting separated and dried off and falling off. In those areas of the domains like keratoderma, ichthyosis, or psoriasis, it may be palmoplantar psoriasis or scalp psoriasis, whatever it is. It falls under the category of in Ayurveda as either Ekakushta or Kitiba. In these conditions, definitely this 777 oil or even Raitia oil, Soria oil or Cutisora oil, there are plenty of companies with that content available in the market. So all these can be definitely useful. And I am also using these type of oils in extensively in these conditions with a convincing result.
The drug is widely accepted for its clinical efficacy. There are some clinical studies are also done on that. Like in one of the previous GURUBODHA sessions, you said for the skin disease, usually coconut oil is preferred in many cases. Like we have Nalpamara, the coconut oil, even Ela, the kerathalum, etc. In this also, coconut oil is used typically. Usually 10 part of coconut oil is mixed with 1 part of leaf of Radia tinctoria and is kept for under sunlight for 7 to 10 days. Like you said, I mean, coconut oil is coolant, whereas our, most of the default sesame oil that we use is hot. Probably this again specifies to your point that this being a coolant, it will also sort of protect and nurture the phytonutrients from the herbs, and does not allow these volatile principles to go away with the help of mild sunlight.
Probably another reason would be the coconut oil is comparatively having a low boiling point or a melting point when compared to other oils. That's maybe another reason they might have used it. We are just simply under sunlight, very easily coconut oil melts. So because of that reason, it becomes a thin, and as soon as becomes a thin, then the contact with the oil and the ingredient will increase. Maybe the active area, surface area increases, and that helps in the more and more distillation, or what you call it, separation of the ingredients as supporting factors from the content to the oil. So maybe that is one of the reason. And probably that what I have observed is something which is very easily we can use it for the skin condition. Usually the coconut oil is number one, followed by other oils. I mean, of course, all the oils are good to the skin, but the first and foremost is coconut oil if it is using for the skin. The next comes the other tilathaila and even mustard oil. All these things will come next. The reason may be because of their thickness, sandrate, what we call it as, when compared to coconut oil, which is easily gets melted with the sunlight in sun rays. So probably because that reason that we use them most time in coconut oil for the skin conditions as well as in Aditya Paka.
So this is like indications of sunshine oil, like rightly you have explained, whether the skin peels off, even the case of dandruff. Some people also use it in the burns. Ichthyosis is another example where it is frequently used. And some people also use it for Aphthous ulcer of mouth, gingivitis, atopic dermatitis. Moving on to the next. This is about the two types of rasayanas or anti-aging practices. One is where milk and ghee are used together, and it is called as Kshira Grita Abhyasa. Acharya Charaka in Sutrasthana 25th chapter explains Kshira Grita Abhyaso Rasayanana. So it means that of all the Rasayana technique, of all the life expectancy increasing and anti-aging and rejuvenating practices, consuming Kshira and Grita, cow milk and cow ghee on a continuous basis, on a daily basis. Abhyasa means to practice it on a continuous basis for several days to years to months to years. Itself is probably the best Rasayana technique. And then in the same Rasayana chapter of Chikisasana, there is this Chyavanprash, and there is this Brahma Rasayana, and then there are 4 Rasayana, major Rasayanas explained, Acharya Rasayana, etc. Question to Raghuram sir is that, if only milk and ghee are very good general Rasayanas, why we at all need Chyavanprash, or which one to use where? And can Chyavanprash be the default generalized Rasayana to everyone as it is marketed with a lot of advertisements and all, or it is specific to the specific complaints for which it is indicated, like it is explained in Shwasa Kasa, etc.
So going to Chyavanprash, we have a wide range of Rasayanas. Only if we go through Charaka itself, it is enough. 4 padas of this one Rasayana chapter, we can see a wide range of Rasayanas explained there. See, what is Rasayana, if we can understand, it is not something like a jam or some semi-solid substance or something, some liquid or a juice which can be consumed. We have Acharya Rasayana also mentioned by our Acharyas, where our deeds, daily activities, the way we live, the regimen of life, the ethics of life, how we present to ourselves and to the external world, everything is calculated as Rasayana. So Rasayanas are in the form of an object and non-objective also. That is one thing which we need to understand, number one. Chyavanprash is one among the rasayanas, among the list of rasayanas. So the question is, if only milk and ghee are general rasayana, is Chyavanprash overrated, isn't it? As important daily supplement. There is no question of underrating or overrating. Every rasayana has its set of benefits which are mentioned in the Palashruti right at the bottom of each and every rasayana, in which conditions these rasayanas need to be used. Be it Chyavanprash or Brahma Rasayana or Shilajitu Rasayana, Ballataka Rasayana, whatever it is there, at the end there are some benefits which have been mentioned. And also Ayurveda gives us the yukti, that is the considering the case and also the considering the disease and also breaking it according to the time period in which we are there, and trying to calculate if this rasayana really suits to cure that particular disease. So it is always one-on-one and it is nothing generalized. I would like to tell that Chyavanprash, like any other rasayana, is not generalized with capital letters underlined, is not generalized. So we cannot find any rasayana being mentioned as to be consumed throughout the life every day. We cannot find anyone telling that I'm taking Chyavanprash every day throughout my life and I'm happy about that. Why would you even do that? So there is no indication. So as per the question, it only indicates that Chyavanprash is to be used as per its indications and cannot be universally generalized to everyone and cannot be continued forever. Absolutely correct. That last part of the question is absolutely correct. It cannot be generalized. It cannot be taken on a continuous basis. It is one-to-one only. So here the Vishesha Siddhanta is more. It is not a generalized phenomenon. It is a personalized phenomenon. I see Ayurveda moreover as a personalized phenomenon where we can calculate a person and the medicine, whether this suits this particular condition at this particular time and this particular age or not, and how long it needs to be given. So when we see Kshira and Grita, yes, they have been mentioned as the Nitya Rasayanas. And having said that, there are also people in whom there is unsuitability to milk and ghee. Many people tell that when I take milk, it doesn't go well with me. If I take ghee, it doesn't go good with me. So there are conditions there also. So probably, and we need to see where this Kshira and Grita have been mentioned in the context of Achara Rasayana. So these Kshira, see, when we divide this Rasayana into categories, we have Kuti Praveshaka Rasayana, an isolated method where we allow the person to live in a chamber, isolated chamber for certain number of days and take the Rasayana. Chyavanprash exactly fits into that type of Kuti Praveshaka Rasayana. To tap maximum benefits of Chyavanprash or any Rasayana, Kuti Pravesha will be the best method to take. Next comes the Vata Tapika Rasayana, that is plan B. If people cannot afford to go into the Kuti Praveshaka Rasayana because it is a very costly procedure, and if they don't have time, if they don't have patience to be there and take the Rasayana, they can take it while continuing with the day-to-day activities. So that is called as Vata Tapika Rasayana. Being under the sun, being under the wind, being in your normal activities, you can take. Now the question may be, can we take Chyavanprash in Vata Tapika method also? Yes. Continuing your lifestyle, everything, all the activities, you can still take Chyavanprash. But the Chyavanprash taken in Vata Tapika method may not be as beneficial as taken in Kuti Praveshaka Vidhi. So that is why it is plan B. Number 3, there is a bridge between these two things. Achara Rasayana is such a thing where only 2 things which we can consume, that is milk and the ghee, has been mentioned, and all the other things are our activities and the deeds which we do throughout our life. So what would be good? Good food choices, good lifestyle management, an ethical way of living, good relationships, good mood, less stress, good sleep, having peace of mind. All these are Rasayanas itself. If we go through Achara Rasayana, how many of us follow that? If we can follow that very regularly, only for those people, probably this is another way of seeing Achara Rasayana. For the people who are following Achara Rasayana correctly, regularly, daily, living a saintly life, for those people, milk and ghee, especially if it is suitable, may become the best Rasayanas which can be taken throughout the life, provided their system tolerates it and digests it. Otherwise, even for those people, it is not good enough. They can just follow the other ethical way of living their life and just ignore those things. So I think this is what I wanted to tell. There is no question of underrating or overrating. all rasayanas, we need not speak about those words, underrating or overrating at all. But when we see this will be contextual uses, there are some generalized principles, specific principles, and also bridge principles, as I said. As I already said, Kuti Praveshaka, Vata Tapika, and Achara Rasayana, where it fits into. So Chyavanprash is a good medicine, as per the last statement made by the person who has given this particular question. That is absolutely right. I agree. It is one-on-one principle. It is more personalized than generalized.
Thank you, Raghuram sir. Gururaja sir, your inputs on this, please.
See, we need to understand two important factors related with this. Acharya very clearly said where Grita and Kshira Abhyasa Rasayananam. That the context is from the 25th chapter Sutrasthana Charaka, and it is very clearly where he is speaking about individual drugs acting in which way. So for that purpose, we need to understand that these two are the best rasayanas. When we come to understand what is rasayana is, clearly it is mentioned in Charaka, one which is capable of doing all these activities like Dirghamayu, Smruti Medam, Arogyam, Tarunam, Vaya, Prabha Prasado, all these things. And then the last line they said, Labhopayo hi shastanam, Rasadinam, Rasayanam. So when a drug or a combination which could be able to perform all these activities or many of these activities, then that can be kept under the category of rasayana. So in that, generally what we are all given a chance of consuming those things, the commonest were only Kshira and Grita. Hence Acharya has said very clearly, those who are having a habit of consuming Kshira and Grita on a daily basis, that itself give them a scope for rasayana purposes. So that will enhance their rasayana activity in the body. And when it comes to the yogas, Rasayana Yogas like Chyavanaprash, Brahma Rasayana, Narasimha Rasayana, there are plenty of Rasayana Yogas are there. These Rasayana Yogas, by virtue of their combinations and the ingredients present inside, definitely their scope becomes much wider. And of course, with all those rasayanas, some indications, and Falashruti also explained, and some indications have been quoted. It is better to use these yogas in those conditions. For example, a person who is having chronic cold, repeatedly he catches a very easily cold. In that type of person, or those patients, they usually come across with a lot of sinusitis issues or bronchitis issues, and all in those them, it is better. Chyavanprash is the best one. Like that, wherever the condition is suitable, accordingly we need to give the drug of choice. Definitely these formulations have much more ingredients, and definitely their activity wise and the role wise also it is comparatively wider. Whereas Kshira and Grita is a very popular and very simple thing, and which can be easily affordable by everyone. And it is easily available also, whereas many times some rasayana dravyas or combinations may not be easily available in the market. So with all these things, the acharyas have explained about these rasayana and vajikarana concepts. So we need to understand. And of course, rasayana effect is not only at the level of body, it also includes the level of manas. Hence there is a medhya rasayana concept has been explained. And there are many drugs which also supports the medhya rasayana. And to support to that, the best part is that one is Achar Rasayana. Many times Achar Rasayana is trying to help the sattva of a person. Thereby he is able to do the good things, and he try to avoid the one which is bad to the body, or even to him, or even to the society or his family. So that is the one thing where we can make the people to be more sensible and responsible citizens. So that is the reason of combining the Medhya Rasayanas and these concepts, Achar Rasayana and all those things. So definitely at the level of individual drug, Kshira and Grita are the best, and they are very easily available, and everybody can afford it. And whereas it comes to the yogas, Chyavanaprash has definitely a very good one. While Acharyas have explained plenty of its Falashrutis, definitely accordingly we can use them in those conditions, particularly where Rasayana, particularly Chyavanaprash, in a respiratory type of illnesses, where a person is having a weak respiratory system, in him, Chyavanaprash is the best.
Thank you there, sir. Why out of all ingredients, Acharya Charaka specifically picked up milk and ghee and told us best of the rasayanas. He has explained a variety of things. There is oil and many other dietary ingredients, rice, etc., grains and whatnot. Why do you think milk and ghee are given much importance?
I would rather say even milk is the one which is a total diet, except a few things, leaving those things like some iron content or something like that is not present in that. Otherwise, it contains everything. Even ghee is also out of the same milk. It is a very typical combination of water soluble as well as lipid soluble in a coagulant fashion or combined fashion or something like that in a suspended format or whatever it is. Very easily we can get all those type of materials which can be taken up by all the tissues of the body very easily. So maybe they are very easily get accustomed to the different type of tissues and make the nutrition to that. So because of that, probably Acharyas have observed that, and he might have used and said that Kshira and Grita are the best.
When they say that it is Kshira Grita Bhyaso Rasayananam, it need not be milk and ghee together. It can be milk and ghee separate, but used on a daily basis, right?
Yes, it is to be understood in that fashion only. Those who are having a habit of consuming grita as well as ghee in a daily basis. But we have also people in a tendency, we are seeing the people using in the entire northern India, we can come across that people using milk over that, putting malai or something like that, or even putting directly ghee onto that if it is a very common in Haryana. So very good practice that, because atmospheric condition is so supporting and inside Agni is also supportive, then we can consume these things, nothing will happen. Otherwise, we need to be checked on that.
And when a person has suffered with a chronic illness and is coming out of that illness with say Panchakarma and then Samsarjana Karma and then the Shamana Aushadas are given, the palliative medicines are given. When he is coming out of that illness and he is coming back to his normal life, there probably these herbal rasayana medicines like Chyavanprash, Shilajit, etc. things make more sense.
Definitely, we need to understand that whenever there is some procedure has been, a person was ill for a long time and he is subjected for Shodhana therapy and all those things, the first priority should be correct his Agni, bring back the Agni first. Second thing is, we need to maintain Vata very clearly. Adhavante madhyecha marutam parirakshitaha. Very clearly said Acharyas. If you keep up the Maruta in a proper condition, because in our body, Maruta or the Vayu is the only one which has the capacity to move with containing Chalaguna. All others are Pangu. So if any material has to be transported to any other part, that Vata should be very proper in our body. So in Vata should be proper, and Vata will definitely helps even kindling the Agni. See, if Agni has to become Prajwala, then Vata needs to give support. So that's the reason we need to improve the Agni of a person and we need to maintain the Vata of a person. So in order to overcome that Vata and all these things, Agni, we need to use Madhurasa Dravyas, which is Snigdha in nature and supporting these conditions. That's the reason whenever a person with a prolonged illness or recovered from the Shodhana therapies must be given these priorities like improving the Agni, maintaining the Vata, then give the nourishment. That nourishment will be carried to the places where it is required, and very easily we can achieve the goal.
Thank you very much, sir. Raghuram, sir, do you have any points, please?
Yeah, so adding to these points, I would like to add something from, since we are speaking about Chyavanprash. Going to the Palashruti of Chyavanprash, at last we can find Rasayanasya asya naraha prayogat labate jirnopi kuti praveshat. Very clearly at the end of Chyavanprash, it has been mentioned, last but one line, that kuti praveshat word has been used, that Chyavanprash has to be taken as first priority in kuti praveshika vidhi. So with evolution, we have come to the Vatatapika method, and many companies coming with Chyavanprash and advertising it as a kid-friendly or child-friendly recipe. So it has been indiscriminately used, but clearly for tapping good benefits, it has been mentioned as Kuti Praveshat in the shloka itself. And number two, Out of all the benefits of Chyavanprash, I would like to read out one line from Charaka. Kshenakshatanam, Vruddhanam, Balanam cha Angavardhanam. See, we were speaking about the specific conditions in which Chyavanprash needs to be used. This is a beautiful quote here. Kshenakshatanam, those people who have lost their tissues due to some injuries or some trauma or something. Vruddhanam, in aging people. Balanam, in children. See the age group there. So it has been mentioned as children and also the old age people. In children, there is the tissues are under the process of development. In old age people, the tissues are degenerating. In both these conditions, Chyavanprash has been specifically indicated. Like Kshenakshatanam, Vruddhanam, Balanam cha Angavardhanam. Angavardhanam. It helps in the developmental process of the body and restoration of the tissues. Where? In children and also in old aged people. So the extremities of ages has been mentioned. Such Palashruti has not been given in any Rasayanas. So it can be used at extremes of ages. So that is the limitation. Even in kids, even in old age people we can use. But what is the benefit there? Restoration of tissues and preventing the tissue damage and also the tissues from degenerating and allowing the tissues to grow in a proper way in the kids. So when we see this, we get a question. Do other Rasayanas also give the same benefit, or is it only the Chyavanprash? Other Rasayanas also, because Rasayanas main principle is itself to improvise the tissues, balance the tissues and bring it to the normalcy. Okay, Labhopayo hi shastanam, as Gururaja sir also said, Rasadinam Rasayanam, the Rasadi Dhatus will be enriched with their properties by using Rasayana. All Rasayanas will do. But when we come to the Angavardhanam, Balanam cha Angavardhanam and Vruddhanam in using in extremities of ages, Chyavanprash I think will be the leading Rasayana in comparison to the other Rasayanas. This is how we need to see. All Rasayanas may help in rejuvenation of tissues, restoring the tissues, balancing the tissues, nourishing the tissues. But at extremes of ages, the Chyavanprash will be the best one to do this particular job. So all Rasayanas can do, but specifically Chyavanprash is the best among the lot. So when we read through all the Rasayanas, we will be able to figure out which is best in what. So this is the categorization of Rasayana when we do this. And mainly, as I already said, Kuti Pravesha, it has been clearly indicated. So Kuti Pravesha, any Rasayana taken will give the optimum results rather than taking in a daily. So while living in the daily day-to-day activities. So these are the 2 points I wanted to add. So going through the Chyavanprash in detail will give a lot of ideas.
Thank you there. And what are the extremes of ages? Bala and Ruddha told. What are the range of age in which Chyavanprash can be advised?
Usually, where we can give Phalaprashana or even to the Annaprashana. From that age onwards, definitely we can Chyavanaprasha. So that means maybe from the age of 1 year onwards, definitely Chyavanaprasha can be given.
In that, everything is like dose dependent and condition dependent.
Chyavanaprasha has been said that it should be taken in such a sense that it should replace your morning food. If we are living in such a era that Agni is a quite challenging one, and we cannot simply say that for the people to consume that and may not be able to digest that much quantity also. So that's why we have shifted from that to 5 grams to 10 grams dosage.
One more point here, sir. The ability of the child, already the age group Gururaja sir mentioned, right? When the child is able to take the palas and other things, we can give Chyavanprash. The ability of the child to swallow such medication, even without being guided. Okay, so that also should be seen. So because many kids, many children, so of particular, even 1-2 years age group, they cannot swallow the medicine properly. Kids have problem swallowing tablets, even half a tablet, swallowing it with water and all those things. So suddenly, if the children are not comfortable, it may choke in the throat. So we need to monitor in the initial doses and see the ability of the child to swallow that particular medicine, because it is in the form of a paste. It can stick to the throat. We should see the comfort zone of the child. So initially 1-2 rejections, we should probably wait and then reintroduce that medicine, be it Chyavanprash or any other rasayanas which are in the form of avaleha.
Thank you, Raghuram sir. So that with that we come to an end of this session. Words of gratitude and pranams to Dr. Gururaja sir and Dr. Raghuram sir. Namaste.